Hello, it's Fixyman Chris, and today I want to talk about pimping some bicycle lights. Now, I bought a set of lights from Sports Direct. They're made by Pinnacle, and they're really nice little lights, these, because they're USB chargeable, and you can take them off the bike quite easily. But they come with these horrible little straps that hold them onto the bike frame. Now, as you can see by these straps, there's a little clip here that can quite easily fall off. And I just knew that after a while, these things would perish or break off, or I'd lose a little bit of the clip, which I need to keep them on the bike. So I was trying to think of a way of making these more permanent on the bicycle, but also to keep them on with strength. The great thing about these is that in order to charge them, you unscrew the module, and that means you can remove that part from the bicycle without removing that bit. And it's got a very nice, tough lug on the end of it, which I thought, oh yes, we could use that to attach more permanently to the bicycle. They're reasonably priced, these lights, but I don't want you to lose them. And that's what this is all about. It's the Fixyman Bike Light Hack. Let's run through what you'll need. A glue gun and some glue sticks. You'll also need a vitamin C tablet tube to cut your little mould. There's one I prepared earlier. It'll have to be empty, of course. Then you'll need some cable ties to attach your holder onto the bicycle frame or the bicycle handlebars, craft knife for trimming and cutting, and you'll also need a drill, and that's it. But as always, you will need quite a bit of patience in these things as well. Altogether though, this whole thing takes about 10 minutes to make. Here's the process then. We're going to make this mould, which will be 2 centimetres high from the bottom of the tablet holder. We're going to fill it with glue. Whilst that glue is still molten and hot, we're going to drop in the bicycle light holder. And once that's cool, take away the mould, drill a couple of holes, pop the cable ties through, and that will attach it to the bicycle post or the handlebars. Job done. Shall we take you through it in more detail? This is what it looks like on the rear of the bike. I'll show you the front of the bike a little bit later on. Starting from scratch then, first of all you need 2 centimetres drawn onto the bottom of your tube, your empty tube, and then using your finger as a guide, just try and draw all the way around the pot in an even line. Once you've done that, you'll cut through that section using a craft knife and some scissors if necessary. It can be a little bit tricky this, just be careful whilst you're doing it. Then we need to create this little profile section, which is going to be the curved area of the holder which will fit against your bicycle post or your handlebars. Now, I used a little spare cross section of my pot as a guide to draw a circle on the side of the spare piece, and then you can use a craft knife and some scissors to cut that through. It won't be particularly accurate, but you can always trim it and change it later on. Here's one, again, I prepared a little bit earlier. That will then drop into the pot to create the full mould. Of course, the bicycle lights are great because they screw off so that you can recharge them, so we can work just with the bottom part. You'll notice there's a little lug that sticks out the bottom, and that's going to be buried in our glue. Right, the profile sits in the bottom of the mould pot. You can stick it in place with some sticky fixes. That's what I did. Just holds them there neatly. Try and get it nice and straight at the bottom of the pot, not at an angle. Now we're going to fill it with the glue. My glue gun takes quite a long time. It's a slow rechargeable one. Yours might be better. But the idea is to keep that glue nice and wet all the way to the top of the pot. Once you're there, we're going to drop in that light holder and press it firmly in place. A bit of the glue will squeeze out the bottom. That's fine, we can trim it later on. Now at this point, just to let you know, you could set that holder at a slight angle, depending on where you want the light to be. Now I don't bother, I just keep it straight, but if you wanted to, it could be slightly to the right, slightly to the left. That will firmly set in place once the glue is dry. So you can run it under the tap or just wait an hour or two and then roll that mould on the surface of the table or between your fingers, and satisfying, it'll eventually come off. and you can see as it slides away, there is that lovely curved profile that will go against the saddle post or the handlebars. The other thing you can do is just trim away some of that glue. And don't forget, you can buy coloured glue sticks, so you could use black ones to match the holder or coloured ones to match the frame of your bike. Now we're drilling holes. Now the thing to be careful about when you're drilling the cable tie holes is to make sure that they're 90 degrees to the profiled edge that you've created in the mould. They need to be 90 degrees so you can attach it across the bicycle frame or the saddle post. Making sure when you drill the holes you miss the disc that's buried in the glue. So there's a remainder of drilling the holes, making sure I miss that disc. If your glue gun plastic is opaque, you can hold it up to the light to see where that disc is. Now we're popping the cable ties in place. You could even put a little bit of glue back in the hole to make sure those cable ties are held firmly, but you don't really need to. Once they're in place, you can attach this to the frame of your bike. This is my front light, so here goes. Make sure it's really nice and tight, and you will be able to adjust it once it's in place. I've put a little bit of rubber on my handlebars just to make sure that it stays nice and straight. Depends on how much give you want and whether you want to adjust it or not. Trim away those cable ties, and as you can see, there is still a little bit of give there on my front light. And there it is, the front light in place, still adjustable to a certain extent. Because you've just got the rear of the holder buried in the glue, you can unscrew these lights and recharge them at the end of the day. And there it is, your Fixyman bike light hack. Have a go. Let me know how you get on. Please subscribe and please like this video. Thanks for watching.